Y'all, stop what you're doing because this is not just another headline. Kanye West has just dropped a bombshell so chilling, so jaw-dropping, that the internet is frozen in shock. According to Kanye himself, Candace Owens might actually be next on the hit list after the shocking Charlie Kirk shooting. And if you think this sounds like a movie, baby, you're about to realize the script is darker than fiction. Because here's the kicker. New leaked texts suggest Charlie Kirk, KNEW Danger, was coming before he even stepped foot in Utah for that fateful talk show appearance. He felt the pressure, he got the warnings, and yet he went anyway. And now insiders are whispering that somebody from inside Turning Point America, his OWN circle, may have pushed him into that trap. And now all eyes are on Candace. Why? Because she's the only one bold enough to call out the FBI's shaky investigation. The only one exposing the lies around their so-called shooter. And the only one still holding on to a file of secrets that could blow the entire case wide open. But here's the twist. Kanye West claims that because Candace is digging too deep, her life could now be in real danger. He's allegedly told her to disappear, to vanish, to hide until the storm clears. So the burning questions are these. Did Charlie Kirk know his end was coming? Did someone inside Turning Point set him up? And is Candace Owens really next on the list? Stay locked in, because what you're about to hear will shake you to your core. To really understand the nightmare that's unfolding right now, we need to rewind way back before the headlines. Before the shooting, before Kanye even stepped into this mess. Because the seeds of this scandal weren't planted overnight. They've been growing for years in the tangled web of politics, money, culture, and betrayal. First, let's start with Charlie Kirk. 2 millions. He was the face of Turning Point America, a young firebrand who built a reputation on bold speeches, fiery debates, and loyalty to conservative causes. He positioned himself as the guy who stood shoulder to shoulder with America's youth, fighting for what he believed was the future of the country. But behind the flashy rallies and carefully curated social media posts, insiders whisper that Charlie was cracking under pressure. The donors were demanding one thing, the grassroots wanted another. And Charlie himself was allegedly growing conflicted about the very positions that made him famous. According to texts that have since leaked, Charlie had privately expressed doubts about continuing to toe the line on certain political issues, especially his strong pro-Israel stance, which had been one of his biggest calling cards. In one alleged exchange, Charlie told a Turning Point staffer that he was considering pulling back, even hinting that he wanted to bring Candace Owens closer into the fold again. This was huge, because Candace had been sidelined from certain conservative spaces for years, accused of being too messy, too controversial, and sometimes even too unpredictable. Charlie, reaching out to her again, suggested he was ready for a major shift, one that could alienate the very people funding his empire. Now let's bring Candace into the picture. If you followed her career, you know she thrives on disruption. She's not afraid to burn bridges, call out hypocrisy, or stand alone in a storm if it means getting her truth across. Her partnership with Kanye West only amplified that energy. Remember the chaos when Kanye first wore the MAGA hat? The internet broke, people rioted in comment sections. And Candace was right there by his side, defending his right to think differently. Their alliance was more than just friendship. It was a culture war weapon, shockwave that shook both Hollywood and Washington. But that partnership also painted a target on their backs. Insiders say the establishment never forgave Candace for elevating Kanye into the political spotlight. They didn't forgive Kanye for refusing to play by the rules. And they certainly didn't forgive Charlie Kirk for even entertaining the idea of working with them again. Which brings us back to Utah the night everything went wrong. Charlie Kirk was scheduled to give yet another fiery talk at Utah Valley University. But according to Candace, he already had doubts. He'd received threats. He knew people wanted him silenced. He allegedly even considered pulling out. And yet someone from inside his own organization encouraged him to go. That decision may have sealed his fate. Candace Owens. Being close to Charlie and sitting on Turning Point's board wasn't about to accept the FBI's quick answer. The official story pinned the shooting on a young man named Tyler Robinson, who was conveniently caught thanks to surveillance stills. But Candace, digging deeper, pointed out something the media ignored. Tyler had partial paralysis in his right leg. She showed receipts, old videos, even police body cam footage proving he couldn't run the way the shooter in the viral clip did. The FBI's narrative was crumbling. Candace was the one swinging the sledgehammer. And then there's Kanye. Say what you want about him, genius, madman, provocateur. But one thing's certain. He sees danger before most people even smell smoke. Sources close to him claim that as soon as Candace started exposing flaws in the FBI's case, Kanye called her directly. His warning was chilling. They're coming for you next. You need to disappear. He allegedly begged her to tighten her security to stop attending public events, to lay low until she could protect herself. Candace, of course, didn't listen. Instead, she doubled down. She skipped Charlie's official memorial, claiming the FBI had a hand in organizing it, and she refused to stand beside the very people covering up his death. Instead, she spent the day with Kanye West, blasting his music in her headphones, sending a loud and clear message. I won't be silenced, and I won't play by your script. This decision shocked fans. Some applauded her bravery, saying she was too smart to walk into a federal trap. Others accused her of betrayal, claiming she should have honored Charlie regardless. But to Candace, this wasn't about appearances, it was about survival. And if Kanye's warning was even half true, she was already standing in the crosshairs. What makes this all so sinister is the pattern. Think about it. Charlie expresses doubts about his stance. Leaked show donors were threatening to pull out. A staffer encourages him to attend an event he feels uneasy about. And then, tragedy. Now Candace is uncovering flaws in the official story, dropping receipts, and hinting at a mole inside Turning Point America. Suddenly, Kanye's warning doesn't sound paranoid. It sounds prophetic. Because if Charlie really knew, if he really saw the storm coming and tried to resist, then the obvious question is, who pushed him forward anyway? Who stood to gain from silencing him? And if that mole is still operating inside Turning Point, what's stopping them from targeting Candace Owens next? As the dust begins to settle, one thing is crystal clear. This isn't just about a tragic shooting. This is about power, loyalty, betrayal, and survival. It's about culture colliding with politics. And about what happens when someone digs too deep into secrets they were never supposed to uncover. And now the clock is ticking. Candace isn't backing down. Kanye's sounding the alarm. And the rest of us are left asking, is Candace Owens really safe? Or is she about to step into the same trap that Charlie Kirk couldn't escape? The night of the Utah talk show will forever be etched into the minds of everyone who saw it, not because of Charlie Kirk's speech, but because of the gunshot that cut through the air and silenced him forever. But here's the part the mainstream media won't tell you. According to multiple insiders and leaked messages, Charlie Kirk already knew something was wrong before he stepped foot on that stage. He had warned friends. He had expressed doubts. He had even told staff members that he was seriously considering canceling. And yet somehow he was pushed to go anyway. That's where the first layer of betrayal begins, in the hours before his talk. Charlie allegedly texted a close associate, "I don't think this is a good idea. The threats are getting specific." Another message allegedly read, "If I don't show up, I'll look weak. If I do show up, I might not make it home." These messages were never meant to see the light of day. But Candace Owens has been slowly drip-feeding them to the public, proving that Charlie wasn't oblivious to the danger. He walked into it with full awareness that something sinister was looming. So why did he go anyway? According to Candace, the answer is chilling. Someone close to him convinced him to push forward, assuring him that the threats were empty and that canceling would hurt his image. This someone was allegedly a high-ranking staff member inside Turning Point America, the very organization Charlie founded, and that's where things twist into darkness. Candace dropped a bombshell on her podcast when she revealed a Screenshot of Charlie's texts with a Turning Point insider. Now confirmed to be Josh Hammer. In these texts, Charlie confided about his doubts over continuing to push a pro-Israel stance that was increasingly unpopular with parts of his audience. He hinted that he wanted to step back, maybe even pivot, and possibly bring Candace back into the circle. Josh, however, pushed back hard, allegedly warning him that donors would pull funding if he strayed from the script. Then came the kicker. Josh allegedly told Charlie that if he skipped the Utah event, the backlash would be career suicide. Within 24 hours of that exchange, Kirk was dead. Now, fans online didn't miss the timing. They started digging through Josh Hammer's old posts and found something that made their blood run cold. Barely a day before the shooting, Josh had replied to an old Donald Trump tweet from 2012 that said, "Should be public execution for all to see. You will end this fast." Josh's reply, 2 words, public execution. When that resurfaced, the internet exploded. People began piecing the puzzle together. Charlie expressed doubts. He was pressured to attend. Josh posted a cryptic message about public execution. And then Charlie was shot during a live public event. Was this a coincidence, or was it the ultimate betrayal from inside his own circle? But here's where the twist comes in. The official story didn't match up either. The FBI quickly claimed that the shooter was a man named Tyler Robinson, identified by family members and allegedly caught on surveillance footage. But Candace Owens, armed with both internet sleuths and her own sources, blew holes straight through that narrative. Her biggest point? Tyler Robinson had partial paralysis in his right leg, something that had been documented in police body cam footage after a previous car accident. There are videos showing his limp, his uneven gait. According to Candace, there's no physical way Tyler could have run as quickly as the shooter did in the viral clip. Candace went further, claiming the FBI intentionally used blurry still images instead of clear footage to mask the inconsistencies. She called it the invisible rifle narrative, mocking the idea that Tyler supposedly had a weapon hidden in his skinny jeans while running with a limp. "It's insulting," she said during one live stream. "They think we don't have eyes." Fans started digging too, uncovering old videos of Tyler Robinson limping exactly as Candace described. Suddenly, the FBI's open and shut case was unraveling. People weren't just questioning if they had the wrong man. They were asking if the FBI intentionally pinned it on someone who couldn't fight back, someone who could never defend himself against the accusation. And as Candace ramped up her investigation, Kanye West entered the picture with a warning that made everything even darker. According to insiders, Kanye told Candace directly, "You're next if you don't stop. They're not going to let you expose this." He allegedly urged her to hide, to step back, to protect herself. But Candace didn't listen. She doubled down, openly mocking the FBI's story and skipping Charlie's official memorial, which she claimed was being organized by the same federal agents covering up his death. Instead, Candace spent the day with Kanye, blasting his album in her headphones, sending a symbolic message that she wasn't going to be silenced. Fans were divided. Some praised her bravery, others accused her of disrespecting Charlie's legacy. But behind the theatrics, one fact remained. Candace believed someone inside Turning Point set Charlie up, and she was determined to prove it. That's when she revealed her most shocking move yet. She had initiated a dead man's switch. In her words, she had shared her findings with multiple trusted individuals, instructing them to release everything publicly if anything suspicious ever happened to her. That revelation alone sent chills across the internet. Fans realized Candace wasn't just throwing shade for clout. She genuinely believed her life was at risk. And let's not forget the eerie detail. Multiple witnesses claimed Kirk had received so many threats in the days leading up to Utah that he openly questioned if the event was worth it. According to Candace's leaks, he considered postponing. But the mole inside Turning Point pressured him to push forward. If that's true, then Charlie didn't just walk into danger. He was led into it. The first twist in this scandal isn't just that Charlie may have known he was in danger, or that the FBI might have botched or staged their case. The real twist is this: the betrayal may have come from inside his own circle, and the same shadowy forces that silenced Charlie could now be watching Candace Owens, waiting for her to dig too deep. The internet's questions are growing louder. Who really pulled the trigger in Utah? Did the FBI knowingly frame an innocent man? And was Josh Hammer the man who allegedly pressured Charlie to attend? The man who posted public execution right before the event, just a careless staffer? Or was he the mole Candace keeps warning about? Because if Charlie Kirk knew and still went, then the obvious, haunting question remains: what exactly did he know, and why hasn't the whole truth been exposed yet? And if Candace is now carrying the torch, how long before the very same fate that claimed Charlie tries to claim her too? The Utah tragedy was already a storm of unanswered questions, but what happened after is where the chaos really began. Because as soon as Candace Owens started poking holes in the FBI's official narrative, the internet went into full-blown detective mode. And what they uncovered didn't just challenge the story, it set fire to the entire script within hours of Candace as first expose. Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit threads erupted with armchair investigators combing through every frame of footage, every press release, every suspicious timeline. One viral thread with over 500,000 views bluntly asked, "Why does the FBI only show us blurry stills of the shooter when dozens of people had phones out at that event?" Another thread pointed out something even more suspicious: the Utah Valley University live stream cut out for exactly 27 seconds right after the shot rang out. When the video resumed, security was already on the scene, but the actual chaos in the immediate aftermath? Gone. That wasn't the only piece of the puzzle. Internet detectives also noticed inconsistencies in the eyewitness accounts. Some claimed the shooter was wearing a black hoodie. Others swore it was gray. Some said the man ran left. Others said he bolted right. Yet somehow the FBI came up with one definitive suspect: Tyler Robinson, the young man with partial paralysis in his right leg. And that's where the house of cards started collapsing. Because once the internet dug up old police body cam footage showing Tyler limping, the narrative snapped. Fans began flooding comment sections with one brutal question: if Tyler couldn't run, then who did? Candace Owens wasted no time amplifying these findings. On her podcast, she flat out said, they picked Tyler because he couldn't defend himself. They wanted a scapegoat, not the truth. She went further, suggesting that the FBI needed the case closed fast to avoid anyone looking too closely at Turning Point America itself. Because if someone inside the organization was involved, the fallout could shake the entire political landscape. And then came the bombshell. Candace revealed that she had obtained screenshots of Charlie Kirk's last text exchanges. In them, Charlie admitted he had serious doubts about the Utah event. He said the threats felt different this time. He even floated the idea of postponing. But his staffer, allegedly Josh Hammer, pushed back, telling him to push through and not show weakness. Fans were horrified. On TikTok, a viral video stitched the text screenshots with Josh Hammer's now infamous public execution tweet. The caption read, "He knew. He pushed Charlie to go, and then Charlie was executed in public. Connect the dots." The video racked up millions of views, sparking furious debates across platforms. And that's when Kanye West entered the spotlight again. According to sources close to Candace, Kanye wasn't just worried, he was terrified. He allegedly told her, "You've already shown too much. You're next on their list if you don't stop." He begged her to step back, to protect herself, to avoid becoming the next headline. But instead of retreating, Candace escalated. She confirmed she had created a dead man's switch, meaning if anything happened to her, all of her files, receipts, and documents would automatically leak to the public. That revelation shook the internet. Fans flooded her comments with prayers and support, calling her brave, reckless, or both. One comment read, "They know they can't touch her now. If they do, everything gets exposed." Another said Candace is basically daring them. She's playing chicken with people who don't lose. Meanwhile, mainstream media outlets scrambled to keep up. CNN ran a sanitized headline. Candace Owens pushes conspiracy theories around Charlie Kirk's shooting. But Fox News leaned into the drama with Owens suggests FBI cover-up in Kirk case. Independent blogs, however, went wild, dropping every unverified leak and rumor they could find. Some claimed Candace had recordings of Turning Point board meetings. Others swore she had proof of donor involvement. But here's where the real shocking reveal came in. Leaked financial documents began circulating online, allegedly tied to Turning Point America. These documents suggested millions in donor funds had been funneled into consulting fees and event security that didn't add up. Fans speculated that the money trail might point to who really orchestrated the Utah disaster. The phrase "follow the money" started trending across platforms. And the speculation didn't stop there. Some internet sleuths dug up footage from a rally just weeks before Utah where Charlie appeared visibly shaken. In one clip, he stumbles over his words, pauses, and mutters under his breath, "They're watching." The clip, which had been overlooked at the time, suddenly resurfaced with millions of views. Fans were convinced it was proof that Charlie knew he was being targeted long before. Utah, Candace added fuel to the fire by dropping yet another hint on her podcast. Charlie wasn't the only one questioning things. Others knew, and others stayed silent. She didn't name names, but fans immediately speculated she was referring to Turning Point insiders, people who might have been complicit in the setup. And here's where the story spiraled into something even darker. Josh Hammer himself responded publicly. Instead of denying the leaked texts, he confirmed their authenticity. He admitted that he had pressured Charlie to attend the Utah event. But his defense: Charlie was a fighter. He never backed down from threats. "I was just encouraging him to be who he always was." But fans weren't buying it. The timing of his public execution tweet, the pressure he allegedly applied, and the money trails all painted him as the possible mole Candace had been warning about. Online hashtags like #JusticeForCharlie and #JoshTheMole started trending. And through it all, Kanye West kept hammering the same point. Candace is in danger. He allegedly told friends she's walking into the same trap. They let Charlie go too far, and look what happened. If Candace doesn't stop, they'll silence her too. But here's the shocking reveal that left everyone speechless. Candace announced that she had already been followed. During one live stream, she casually dropped the detail that her car had been tailed leaving a studio. She laughed it off, but fans weren't laughing. Comment sections filled with panic. This is it. They're already watching her. So now the stakes are higher than ever. The FBI story is unraveling. Turning Point America is under suspicion. A possible mole has been exposed. And Candace Owens is daring the world to take her out. Knowing her receipts will spill everywhere if they try. The escalation isn't just about uncovering the truth anymore. It's about survival. And as Kanye keeps warning, if Charlie Kirk knew what was coming and still couldn't escape it, what chance does Candace have now that she's openly challenging the very forces that may have set him up? The minute Candace Owens started dropping her so-called receipts and Kanye West warned the world that Candace might be next on the list, the public lost its collective mind. This wasn't just another trending topic. This was gasoline on a fire that was already burning out of control. Twitter turned into a battlefield. On one side, fans were praising Candace as a fearless truth-teller, exposing what they called the biggest political setup since JFK. Hashtags like #JusticeForCharlie and #ProtectCandace shot to the top of trending lists. One viral tweet read, "If Charlie Kirk really knew and got set up, then Candace is the only one with the guts to tell the truth. That's why they're scared of her." Another piled on with "Kanye ain't lying. Candace needs round-the-clock security now." On the other side, critics slammed her as reckless. "She's exploiting Charlie's death for clout," one user wrote, sparking thousands of heated replies. Others accused her of pushing dangerous conspiracy theories that would only make her more of a target. One particularly brutal tweet said, "Candace isn't next on the list. She's next to embarrass herself. Enough of the drama." TikTok was no less chaotic. Creators stitched Candace's clips with dramatic reenactments of Charlie Kirk's final texts, adding ominous music and captions like "he," Knew. They told him to go anyway. Others made parody videos mocking the FBI's limping shooter narrative, pretending to hide rifles in their skinny jeans and stumbling across the screen. The hashtag invisible rifle exploded with millions of views. But the shockwaves weren't just on social media. Celebrities started weighing in to Kanye West. Of course, doubled down. He posted a cryptic Instagram story. "The truth is dangerous. Protect Candace." Fans immediately flooded his comments with prayers and warnings. Donald Trump Jr. posted a vague but telling tweet. "Loyalty comes with a price. Watch who you trust." Many interpreted it as a thinly veiled comment on Turning Point America and Josh Hammer's alleged role. K. Michelle, never afraid of messy drama, threw in her own shade, child. "Y'all out here playing Game of Thrones with politics. Somebody gone, get burned." Even Elon Musk got dragged into the conversation when he liked a tweet questioning the FBI's investigation. Screenshots of his like went viral, sparking wild theories that even billionaires smelled something rotten. Meanwhile, the Braxton sisters, yes, Tamer's family chimed in too. Toni Braxton tweeted, "Candace better be careful. They don't play fair in politics." That one tweet alone set off a new round of debates about whether Candace had crossed into waters even veterans wouldn't touch. And then came the industry. Reaction. Reports surfaced that turning point. America's donors were in meltdown mode. Several anonymous sources told political blogs that wealthy backers were furious over the leaks, terrified their names would get tied to whatever scandal was brewing. One insider claimed donors are already threatening to pull millions. They didn't sign up for conspiracy drama. They signed up for influence. Fox News scrambled to contain the fire, inviting guests to fact-check Candace in real time. But the effect backfired. Clips of Candace being fact-checked actually went viral on TikTok, with fans accusing mainstream media of gaslighting. CNN ran cautious pieces calling Candace's claims unsupported, but even they couldn't ignore the frenzy online. And YouTubers, they smelled blood in the water. Dozens of commentary channels dropped hour-long breakdowns of the Charlie Kirk conspiracy, raking in millions of views. Some defended Candace as a whistleblower. Others roasted her as an opportunist. But either way, the clicks kept piling up. Even more shocking was the religious community's reaction. A handful of prominent pastors posted support for Candace, calling her a modern Esther standing against corruption. That angle turned the scandal into a spiritual battle for some, with hashtags like #PrayForCandace and #spiritual warfare trending. Alongside the political discourse, but perhaps the most chilling reaction came from Turning Point America itself. In an emergency press release, they acknowledged that Josh Hammer's texts with Charlie were real, but insisted that interpretations circulating online are grossly misleading. They defended Josh, calling him a loyal friend, and condemned irresponsible conspiracy theories. Yet their statement did nothing to calm the storm. If anything, it made fans angrier. The top reply under their official post: "Y'all sound guilty." Meanwhile, the FBI tried to tighten its grip, releasing an updated statement claiming overwhelming evidence against Tyler Robinson. But by then, the internet had already shredded their narrative. One reply with 50K likes summed it up: "Overwhelming evidence. Then why we only get blurry screenshots? Show the tape." The industry and the public were split in half. One side calling Candace the last line of defense for truth, the other accusing her of dragging America deeper into paranoia. But no matter where you stood, one fact was undeniable: this scandal wasn't fading away. It was escalating, drawing in celebrities. Politicians, billionaires, pastors, donors, and millions of everyday fans, and the one person at the center of it all. Candace Owens had just become the most polarizing figure in America. Loved, hated, feared, okay? And possibly hunted. Which left everyone asking if Charlie Kirk's death could cause this much chaos. What happens if Candace is silenced before she drops her final receipts? Because one thing was clear. The storm wasn't calming. It was just getting started. Just when it seemed like the internet couldn't handle any more twists. Candace Owens detonated her darkest bomb yet. In a late-night live stream that fans described as eerily calm but terrifying, Candace revealed she wasn't just investigating Charlie Kirk's death. She was holding on to evidence that could implicate some of the biggest names in American politics. She didn't name names, but she dropped enough hints to send chills down every spine watching. Charlie knew, she said, staring directly into the camera. And now I know too. If anything happens to me, everything comes out. Every text. Every call. Every donor list. Every single receipt. The live stream froze for a split second, glitching in a way fans swore looked intentional. The chat exploded. They're watching her right now. But here's where the twist sliced deeper than anyone expected. Candace claimed she had already received anonymous threats. Not from strangers, but from numbers tied to people inside Turning Point America. She said one message read simply, "You're next. Stop digging." Fans were horrified. Twitter lit up instantly. "If anything happens to Candace, we riot." Another viral post said, "Charlie was silenced. Now they're warning her. This is bigger than politics. This is life or death." And then came the cliffhanger no one saw coming. Candace leaned in close to the camera, lowered her voice, and said, "The shooter wasn't working alone. The real mastermind is still out there, and I have proof." Before she could elaborate, the live stream abruptly cut off. No outro, no goodbye. Just black dot. The comment section erupted in panic. Was it her Wi-Fi? Was it sabotage? Did someone shut her down mid-sentence? Fans rushed to Telegram groups, Discord servers, and Twitter spaces, convinced Candace had just been silenced in real time. Adding to the fear, Kanye West jumped on Instagram an hour later with a chilling post. "Pray for Candace. They moving too fast." It's that cryptic line threw gasoline on an already raging fire. People began speculating that Candace had triggered her dead man switch. The system she'd set up to leak her files if she was taken out. But no leaks came. Not yet. Instead, whispers spread across forums that Candace had gone underground. Some claimed she fled to Wyoming with Kanye. Others swore she was in a safe house outside D.C. The truth. Nobody knew. And here's the part that left fans sleepless. A grainy photo surfaced online just hours after her stream cut off, allegedly showing Candace's car parked outside a federal building. The picture spread like wildfire, captioned, "They got her." Skeptics dismissed it as fake. Believers swore it was proof she'd been taken into custody, or worse. Now the world waits in suspense. Did Candace really uncover the mastermind behind Charlie Kirk's death? Was Josh Hammer just a pawn in something much bigger? And most terrifying of all, is Candace Owens still safe? Or has she already been silenced? Because one thing is certain, Charlie Kirk knew danger was coming and still couldn't escape. And now, if Kanye West is right, Candace Owens is standing in the exact same crosshairs. The lights have dimmed. The files are locked. The clock is ticking. And the next chapter in this nightmare could change everything. So now, fam, we're left hanging on the edge of the darkest cliffhanger yet. Candace Owens has told us flat out. She knows more than she's saying. She claims she has proof of the real mastermind behind Charlie Kirk's death. She's admitted she's being threatened, and Kanye West is warning the world she could be next on the list. But the questions keep piling up, and we need you to help piece this together. Do you think Candace is genuinely uncovering the truth that the FBI doesn't want us to know? Or is she caught in a game too dangerous for even her to control? Did Charlie Kirk really walk into a trap set by his own people at Turning Point America? And here's the most chilling question of all. If Candace has the proof she claims, why hasn't she released it already? Is she protecting herself? Or is she holding it back as leverage, waiting for the right moment to detonate the truth? We need your thoughts. Drop a comment right now. Tell us if you're hashtag Team Candace, convinced she's the whistleblower exposing the rot at the highest levels. Or if you think she's spiraling into conspiracy and painting a target on her own back. And what about Kanye? Is he just being dramatic? Or is his warning the clearest sign yet that Candace's life really is in danger? Before you go, smash that like button like the FBI smashing the live stream feed. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next twist. And ring that notification bell because this saga isn't over, not by a long shot. The files are locked, the clock is ticking. And the next chapter could expose secrets that shake politics, culture, and power to their core. Stay tuned, fam, because the truth hasn't just been hidden, it's been buried. And if Candace digs any deeper, the next headline might not be about Charlie Kirk at all. It might be about her.